Hi there, everybody. I figured I would give you this little insight or behind-the-scenes kind of look into the making of an Oxhorn movie. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working on my new movie in After Effects, and I'm actually having some screen problems. So this might not work. Yeah. I guess I should have tested this before I started broadcasting. Just to show you exactly what I'm seeing right now. One moment. Yeah, it's kind of messed up, right? Anyway, so my goal with this is I want to show you how I work on movies. Oh, okay, well this one looks better. So it's going to be much less structured. I'm not going to be taking questions or anything like that. Maybe it'll help if I exit a few programs. Anyway, I am into the After Effects portion of the movie, doing the special effects. And there's a certain scene that I have been looking forward to working on for a while now. It's going to be a pretty major scene in the movie. And I figured I'd show you as I worked on it. The only problem is that there will be spoilers. That's just the nature of this particular beast. So, for those of you who do not want to see spoilers... Oh, wait, you can't hear me? 1 second. Can you hear me? Oh, you can? Okay, so it's not everybody. 1 second, getting texts. So this is not your typical Oxhorn Scotch and Smoke Rings show. I'm going to be answering emails and texts and all of that. But hopefully I have my program up and running in just a minute so you can see exactly how I work on these movies. All right. Okay, so give me a second, folks. I'm going to try and get After Effects up and running again. I was having some video artifacts during the broadcast, which means you wouldn't have been able to see what I was working on, and that's no good. All right, let's try this once more. Come on, Adobe. Don't fail me now. You big jerk. Again, I will warn you that this will entail spoilers. If you're the kind of person who hates spoilers, do not watch this little sneak peek. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly how long I'll do this, maybe 30 minutes or so, so you can see how I kind of do keying and special effects and all that jazz. Okay, this is promising. So far it's coming up without any visual artifacts, so that's good. I really hope I don't have to reduce my screen resolution in order to do this. If so, I won't be able to broadcast, because I need my screen resolution at a certain setting in order to do this. Okay, this is looking pretty good so far. Let me load up my project. Open recent projects. Come on, Adobe. You can do it. All right, I think we got a winner here. So sadly, I probably won't be able to see very many of your comments or answer any questions while I'm doing this. This is more of just sort of an exhibition. I'm showing you how I work on my videos, and you get to see some behind the scenes into this one particular scene that I'm working on right now, which is a major scene in the movie. It's probably the climactic scene in the movie. So again, spoiler alert. All right, this is looking good. All right, I'm going to turn this on. There you go. Now you can see my screen. So this is Adobe After Effects. I've got it set up a certain way. This is one of the scenes I'm working on. Let me show you everything else that I have up. Here's WoW Model Viewer. Well, once it loads. Whoop. Here's WoW Model Viewer. There you go. I've got it in a tab over there. Here is Particle Illusion, a program I use to generate certain special effects. And this, of course, is Adobe After Effects. So this scene right there, here, I'll show you other things that I've been working on. This is the monitor right here with the big picture in it. And it's taking its good sweet time to load right now. Come on, buddy. There we go. This is the scene I just worked on previously. It's completely done, and I can't really talk to you much about it. And this is the one I'm working on now. As you can see, our major heroes are sitting here, kind of enjoying themselves, looking pretty awesome. They're looking at something. What are they looking at? I don't know. Well, I know, but you don't know, because I'm going to minimize that, actually. Minimize that. Here, I'm gonna make it so I can actually see the chat. Come on. There we go. Yay, now I can see the chat, and you can now see yourselves chat. That orc is Warlord Gorchuk, of course, from Red Snappa. Hold on a minute, I'm continuing to get texts. All right, so let me explain to you all of the different things that are going on in here. I hope you can see. It's hard for me not to see with the monitor here, but I hope you can see all of the different layers I've got going here. So this kind of highlighted area right here are all the layers that I'm working on currently. And I put all of the characters in a pre-composition. So this right here, this little gray bar right there is a pre-composition. I'm going to open it up by holding Alt and double-clicking. Now these are all of the layers in the composition. This is my effects panel over here, and from here I can control the key light. So if I turn it off like that, Associate Professor Evil has a blue background. All of the different characters have a similar key light adjustment, which means that I can shoot them against a blue screen in Model Viewer, and then key them out, and then place them here, and it looks like bingo, they are in the world. Pretty exciting stuff. And one of the reasons that I put them all in a pre-composition is so that I can do major effects to all of them at the same time. So think of it as a folder. All of these different files, each one of these is an individual file, and each one represents a character. This is Thunk, this is Hat, this is Mortus, and I've put them all in a folder called pre-composition number 36, which is what I named number 36. So let me zoom in on here a little bit so you can see it. And so one of the things I want to do is I want to do some color correction so that it looks like they're actually in this world. And thankfully, I've already done the color correction for previous scenes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find all of the different effects and apply it to all of these characters at the same time. So since they're all in this pre-composition, it's kind of like a folder. If I apply an effect to this pre-composition, it will be applied to every single thing within it. So let's see if I can find the previous color corrections that I have done. Let's see, is it in this one? There we go. No, that's a drop shadow. I don't want that. Okay, no, that's a blur. Oh, I see. It's because I'm too far down. Those are my backgrounds. Yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of files here. It's kind of, okay, here we go. So CC Toner is what I use to change the color of all of these to mimic the background. CC Light Sweep is, you know what, I'm just going to show you all of these individually. It's hard for me to, in the simple chucker. I'm basically copying all of them from that particular pre-composition because I'm going to use them again in this composition. So watch carefully to all of these characters. I'm going to put them in the middle of the screen so you can see them better. Watch carefully. When I paste them in here, watch what happens. Check it out. Obviously, the light sweep is a bit too intense. All right. So I'm going to turn these off, and I'll deal with them one by one. So first, let's turn on CC Toner and see what happens. They all change color slightly. And this is important. This really adds to the illusion that they're in the world. And the way that I come up with the proper color to use is I look at the world itself. So in this particular scene in World of Warcraft, you see this color that these mountains are fading into? I don't know if you can see my mouse pointer, but this is the base color of the world. This is the color that the air is in the world. So naturally, since our characters are in that world, we want them to be that particular color. And so what I do is I leave the shadows. I can't zoom in on this, so you can't really read what's going on. I leave the shadows black because shadows are dark. I leave the highlights white because highlights are light. But the midtones, that's going to be the primary color we use. And I'm going to make it this color. Now, it's a good color. It works very well. However, the addition of the sunrise over here makes it so that we want the illusion to be that they're in the middle of the sunrise. And so we're going to lighten it up just a bit. And so you can use the midtones color, which is a fine color, but I prefer to use this actual sunrise color there. And bingo, it looks really good. I'm actually going to go back to the previous color I had because I had done some other adjustments. But I'm just basically explaining it to you. And this is the light sweep effect. Now, it looks like they've got some sun shining on them, and it's a bit much, so let's tune it down a little bit. There are a number of different options you can have here. If I wanted the sweep, which is the base color of the character, to be intense, I just drag this up a little bit, and watch. They all just, oh, blinding light! Amazingly blinding! It's so intense. It's like a double rainbow light sweep all the way across the sky. But I don't want that, because the sun is actually behind them, right? The sun is not facing on them. I'm getting some messages saying that I'm lagging here. Hold on, let me check it. On my end, it's looking pretty good. Am I lagging, folks? Hey, Adfar, that was a quote. You know, for all of you who are, you know, internet savants like I am, you got to know what's popular in the internet world. So if I do a double rainbow reference, it's not because I'm slightly odd, even though I am. It's really because, you know, this is the internet. Hold on, I got to answer a text. Aw. Okay, so I do not need to shave. Wow, you guys are distracting me. I've got to make a movie here, and you guys are trying to give me facial pruning advice, and that's, you know, whatever. I'm minimizing so I don't get pay attention. Anyway, I don't need a sweep on these guys because the sun is not in front of them. So I'm going to take the sweep all the way down, and that makes it look like the sun is behind them, at least the glare. And then the width of this edge intensity, the edge thickness is pretty big. So I'm going to bring the edge thickness down a smidge. That looks pretty good. And then I can also change the angle from which the light is coming from. The sun is obviously right there. So we're going to change the direction of this. It's actually in a pretty good direction. I like that. It's close to where we were. Control S to save. And that's looking pretty good. All right, now to make this... Wow, I keep on getting messages that I'm having poor video performance. Hopefully I'm not lagging to hell and back. So what I'm doing is I'm holding the space bar to move the monitor screen around a little bit, just so that you know, for those who want to get into After Effects. But what we need to work on, is it still too much on the professor? Yeah? Well, maybe. I could, if I wanted to, put the effect on each individual file. Actually, what I want to do is I want to rearrange these a little bit. So I'm going to open up this pre-composition, and I want them to look like they're standing close together. So this looks pretty good. Maybe I should move Mortus to be right about there. I could move Oxhorn to be... Where's Ox? There's Ox. I can move him to be there. Looks pretty good. And the Gorchuk, my man, you need to move over closer to Oxhorn here. That looks good. And then Associate Professor Evil Buddy, let's see, move you up a little smidgen, and then over there. Yeah, I like that better. Alright, let's get out of that, take a look at it. Yeah, I like that, it's pretty good. Oh, Gorchuk looks a little big to me. Oh, also, everything is going to look slightly smushed from your perspective, because I'm working in a resolution that's assuming that it's 4:3 aspect ratio, even though when I complete the final product, it's going to be widescreen. 16:9, but as I'm editing it, it will look fairly odd. But just take a look at the screenshots on the website. I posted some new ones yesterday, and those are the proper aspect ratio, and that's the way it'll look like. Yeah, I know Thunk is off the frame, and that's intentional because the main show is going to be taking place here. The foreground is, well, I'm pointing at it, you can see. The foreground is going to take place right there. And I'm not showing you what's going on there yet because I haven't made it. Right now I'm just putting in, these guys are observing something that's going on. Let's see, do I need to make any other adjustments? It looks pretty good. Alright, so now I need to take a look at the feet. See, the feet of all these characters are obviously composited in on top. And that is not the illusion that we want. We want them to look as if they're actually standing in the grass. Oh man, so I've got people texting me who are watching this fine broadcast right now. Are those purple suspenders? They're kind of magenta. Well, then I don't have to text back if the person is actually in the chat. Alright, anyway, what we want to do is we want to make it look like they're actually standing in the grass. And the best way to do that is to duplicate the background layer. So Control D duplicates the layer. I don't know if you can see this. And then we're going to move it above the pre-composition. And watch what happens. It covers it, right? Obviously. So what we need to do is we need to reduce the opacity while we do some masking. And you select the layer, you press T, and then you drag the opacity down a little bit, and that reduces it. So what we want to do now is, now we can see all of the characters, and we can see the grass behind them, so we know exactly what's going to happen once we start masking out some grass. Now we don't want to mask out all of the grass that is revealed by reducing the opacity of these characters. And the reason for that is because some of the blades of grass are behind the feet or directly underneath the feet. The only blades of grass that we want to show are the ones that are directly in front of the feet. So let's zoom in on Thunk's feet here and start masking out the bits of grass that make sense. Like that one looks good. Oh wait, I've got the Rotobezer on, and I don't want that. And I know that doesn't make sense to you, but we're going to deselect this check mark here that says Rotobezer, and it's going to make us have nice and straight. And the masking doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so I masked that out, and what happens? Presto. We've got this little grass thing right above the foot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press MM, and that shows me all of the masks that I have going. I'm going to put the layer, the mask to 0 for a moment so that I can go ahead and mask out the rest of these blades of grass. So here is a blade of grass that is on top. So we want to mask that out. And I wish I could fast forward and show you the final result, because you pretty much get the idea now. But I can't, because this is happening live. Oops, I didn't want that. And I think that about does it. Well, come on. I've got a really horrible mouse that wants me to double-click all the time, even though I'm not done with it yet. So I need to get a better mouse. All right, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like for Thunk, the completed project. I'm going to turn off the mask layers. Oh, let's turn these to add. There we go. So it looks now like there's grass covering Thunk's foot. Take a look at that. See, that helps sell the illusion that he is actually standing in the world instead of being composited on top of it. So now we have to do that for all the other characters' feet. That's a lot of feet. This is probably the tedious portion of the tutorial, so sorry, but it has to be done. After all, I'm making art here, right? And art. I'm making art here, and I want to be perfect so that the fans are made happy. Let me reduce the opacity of this particular layer. Alright. Now, hat is hard because he's so small. Well, I'm just going to turn these mask layers off for now and reduce the opacity. Is there any grass that's on top of him that needs to be... Oh yeah, there's a smidge right there that needs to be showcased. Or shown. Let's show this one right here. So it's not an exact science because, you know, it's just to give an illusion. So we can show that one, and that's probably enough to give the illusion. Maybe make one here. so that his first foot looks, yeah, I like that. Alright, and Mortus, let's go up here. How's that look? Yeah, that looks good, right? Maybe have this one come up like that. That's pretty happening there. Alright, now Oxhorn, he's got some big old feet. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm making machinima here. I might not be able to pay exact attention to all of your different comments. You know, there are a lot of you in chat, about 70 watching this live thing go on, and you know, I can't pay attention to all of you. Alright, let's reduce the opacity just so we can see what's behind him for a moment. Okay, so we can have this little smidge come up like this. Right? Oh, that's the wrong one. I was doing it on the wrong layer. Here. There we go. Yep, that looks good. Reduce the opacity. And then, actually, that's probably about it for that foot. Let's move over here, check out this foot. Oh yeah, we got some good old stalks of grass right there that we can take care of. Let's go up like this. Oh, come on. There we go. That's looking handsome. Nice. And then, is that one behind his foot? Yeah, so we don't need to do that. Oh, but that one's in front. So let's go up like this. There we are. It's looking pretty good. Now let's move this vertex in. So to do that, I just pressed V to get to my pointer, and now I can move those points independently. Alright, move that up to 100%. Man, that looks good. They look like they're standing in grass now. Now we got to do Warlord Gorchuk. So let's reduce the opacity on this. Actually, what do we need to do for him? There's one big blade of grass right there and one big blade of grass right there. So let's mask out these. Whoops. Yeah, I need to get a new mouse. Makes rotoscoping tricky. And then this one right here. That's looking good. And were there any others? Yeah, maybe one or two. You see all the detail that Oxhorn puts into his movies just for the fans. That's right. Alright. It's looking good. What about Associate Professor Evil? Or Mr. Evil, as he is now known. Is there, actually, there's really nothing behind him that needs to be done. Okay, so let's bring the opacity on both of these back up to 100%. Let us make sure that all of the masks are on. Go to add. Let's turn off them and take a look. Oh, man, that is beautiful. Look at that. They got the grass over the feet. It's looking pretty fantastic. A minor touch. Many people may not ever notice it, but it's the minor touches that are pretty important. Now, what do we need? Shadows. It's time to do some shadows. All right, I'll show you how to do shadows. So we go Layer, New, Solid, and this is our Solid Settings dialog box. Let's name it Perspective Shadows. And then we choose a color. It's already on black, so we don't need to do that. Click OK. And now we have some shadows. Let's resize it to make it the size of this particular scene. So if you want to resize a layer in the timeline, you go to the beginning point, you hold Alt, and you press lower square bracket. That trims it to that point. Go to the front of it, hold Alt, lower square bracket again, and then let's bring this down on top of the background just to make things easy for us in the timeline, just a bit of organization. I have a pretty massive timeline going on here. Pros, yeah, they like to keep things nice and concise, but me, I have stuff going all out here. Okay, so we have our shadows directly on top of our characters. Let's reduce the opacity a bit just so that we can see what's going on. Why is he blue? Why is he blue? Why is he blue? Oh! Oh, okay, that makes sense. So this is another, here. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing right now. It takes too much time and it's really not necessary. Okay, there we go. Aww. All right. Coffee. Where were we? Oh yeah, that's right. We were doing shadows. So let's just increase the opacity on this smidge. So that we can see what we're doing. All right, so this is our shape mask tool over here. Right now it's selected, it's set to rectangular mask. We want to make a circular mask. So hold Alt and click it to switch to circular mask, and that lets us do that, right? But we don't want to do that. Let's make, on this exact same layer, a circular mask for each foot. So this is Thunk. We want it to be a little circular shadow. And I know that a drop shadow effect makes better shadows, but I am used to doing circular shadows, and that's what I want to make. Nice. All right, let's do one for hat. Let's make it a hat-sized shadow. It's looking good. Let's do one for Mortus. Look at that. Look how easy this is. And you guys thought video editing was complicated. Just wait. We're getting to the complicated bit in a bit. And then for Staghorn, or Oxhorn, I like that. Let's do Warlord Gorchuk right here. Red Snapper! Just a little red snapper. And Associate Professor Evil. Okay, let's turn off the mask tool so we can see what we got there. Not bad, but what we want to do now is we want to feather the masks a little bit so that the shadows aren't quite so hard. So what's a good feather? Let's try 20. We're going to be doing Thunk's shadow, so take a look at Thunk's shadow. Feathers it a bit. That's too much. Let's try 15. Let's try 7. There, that's a little better. So let's do that for all of the masks. Feather 7, feather 7, feather 7, feather 7, feather 7. All right, that's looking pretty good. Are any of the masks off, fellows? Do you think I should make an adjustment? Actually, yeah, I should make an adjustment for Warlord Gorchuk's. If you want to make an adjustment, double-click on it like that, and then you can drag it any way you want. Come on. If you hold Shift, it drags everything in relation. So that, yeah, I'm going to stop trying to explain what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. That's all that matters, right? That's looking good. Any others that need changes? I like it. All right. Now, obviously, this mask is in the wrong spot. It's on top of the feet. We want it to be under the feet. But watch what happens. There. Looks better, but actually, oh, that actually looks fine. I don't think we need to do any other adjustments. Perfect. Cool. So there we go. Control S to save it. That is looking rather fantastic. Don't you agree? All right, there are going to be other things that we're going to do to make this look good. No. Okay, somebody's asking, how are people texting Ox? I'm never going to give you guys my phone number so you can text me. Seriously. 77 people in chat texting me on my phone? Not going to happen. That's just a friend of mine who's also watching and giving me a hard time on my phone. Who's texting me? And so what I'm going to do is give you a bloom. So the nice thing about After Effects is that it comes with a bunch of pre-built blooms. And the one I like best is one called Bloom, Brights, and Darks. So this is the Effects and Presets panel. If you want to search for something, just type it in and it'll give you all the options. So let's drag the Bloom, Brights plus Darks onto our very final background and watch what happens. Whoa, look at that. Everything kind of gets all... This is called the Baron Suzden effect, right? I love his stuff. Great guy. It's basically everything has bloom on it. So it's great. Fast blur, calculations, and calculations darken. Brighten and darken. It's looking pretty good. But one thing that we don't want is, you see what it did to the sun? You see how the sun lost some definition? Well, that we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate it and remove the bloom effect from the bottom layer because we won't need it for later. Let's move this up. Actually, no, we don't need to do that either. It's fine just where it is. And we're going to mask out the sky. And now we can use our Roto Bezier. Select Roto Bezier, it just makes the mask smoother. And, you know, where we put this doesn't really matter. We're basically just wanting to mask out the sky so that the sun doesn't lose its definition. We want to bloom the brights and highlights of the actual landscape. That gives us a kind of dreamy, you know, art film, indie sort of thing going on, whatever. And bam, look at that. Now we got the definition of the sun back. But sadly, look at this. This line right here. This is an ugly line going through here. So we need to feather that mask by whatever that is, 45? That looks better. So now the mask is feathered, and those who don't know what we've done are none the wiser. Look at that. That's a pretty sick looking scene right there, huh? Let's turn this layer off for now, just because the blurs and stuff that we did in order to get the bloom to work take up a lot of computer resources. And for what we're about to do, we don't want that. This is just an example of what it looks like without the bloom, with the bloom, without the bloom, with the bloom. Just a little added effect. Coffee break. Are you guys giving out my number in chat? This isn't nice. I'm scrolling up to make sure you guys aren't giving away my number. Okay, good. Not giving away my number. That's good. Otherwise, I'd be very miffed. Yeah, that's right. You want a number? Here's my number. 555-555-5555. Look at that. Now you can call Oxhorn. Seriously, no doubt. All right. So now for the complicated bit of this scene. I told you that this is one of the climactic scenes in the movie, and that's true. So I just haven't given a lot of thought to how we want to do this. So again, spoiler alert, we're getting into a bit of a spoiler alert, and if you don't want to see spoiler alerts, please do not continue to watch. Let's go over to Model Viewer. Alright, so here we are in Model Viewer. Let's change the background color to blue, because what we are going to shoot is going to need to be keyed out. View, File List. We're in backgrounds right now, which we do not need to be in, so let's turn off the environments, go to World, and find exactly what it was that we had. There. Don't crash. Please don't crash. Alright, there we go. So we have this nice little plate or bowl. What could it possibly be used for in my movies, you wonder? Good question. How do I want to do this? I guess I'm just going to have to shoot a screenshot from this perspective. Actually, I could have it spinning like that. Okay, I like that a lot. So let's zoom in a little bit. We could have it spinning. Yeah, I like that. So I'm at a very high resolution right now. I'm at 1920 whatever. So I'm going to be creating a very large file. See this number in the lower right hand corner? That's Fraps. I'm using Fraps right now to record. Let me pop it up real quick so that you can see what my settings are for Fraps. For movies, my video capture hotkey is F4. For screenshots, it's F11. We are going to be shooting a video of this, shooting at 30 frames a second, full size. So, maximize it once again. Pressing F4 to start. It turns in the lower right-hand corner, and I'm going to rotate it just because I want to. Wow, look at that horrible lag. Oh, that's awful. Oh, man, that's really rough. It's because I'm... Okay, no, that's not going to work. How can I shoot this and not get a bunch of really horrible lag and broadcast at the same time? Okay, I'm going to reduce the speed and then double it up. So over here's the animation control dialog, which was hidden by my camera. I'm going to reduce the speed to 5, so that 0.5, so that this thing rotates at half the speed it normally does. Here, this is where I'm recording. I'm going to delete this file because I will not need it anymore. All right, so I'm going to start recording, press F4, and I'm going to start rotating. You see it's rotating at a much slower speed, and the reason we're doing this is because I have some hardware acceleration issues because I'm doing too much on this computer. So in order to drop some frames out and make it look like it's going at a proper speed, I'm going to have to speed the file up in my actual program when we get there. And the lower right hand corner, it's going 22, 21 frames per second. I believe it's 15 frames a second is when it actually gets noticeable. But that's just for a live broadcast. For this, it's obviously noticeable right now. And I think that's enough. So F4 to finish the recording. All right, this is the file we just created. This is this dish. And we're going to name it tin rotate slow. Enter. And let's cut that, paste it here. And then bring this back up, go to the project file. We can see all of the files we're using for this. Press V so that we don't accidentally cut something out, and drag it into the project file. Bam, it is in our program. Look at that. Whoop. We've got our rotating tin. Messed up. Okay. So let's drag this out over here. It is now in our control. Let's trim the beginning a little because sometimes when you start a recording, the beginning gets messed up. And let's do what we did earlier. We go to time, stretch. Press 50. That doubles the speed of that particular file. Then let's go to the beginning of this. Alt, square bracket, and there you go. Now we've got a file that works exactly as we want it to in our scene. Let's go to the effects and presets, type in keylight, get our keylight function, drag it onto the effect in the timeline, choose a color with this eyedropper. We want blue. So we're keying out blue. Let's double click on it so that we have just the file selected. As you can see, this is the proper aspect ratio. When you double click on it, let's go to screen matte because we want to take out all of the blue in this file. And the reason we do this is because now we see it as a solid color. And in order to keep an object from becoming transparent when you key out a background color, since it's keying out all of that color, so here's the logic behind it. This is the source, right? Blue is the background color. We want that to be invisible. However, there's a little bit of blue in the actual thing we want to be visible. And we see that when we go to screen matte. It's hard for you to see, but some of these pixels are dark gray, and some of them are white. And we want them all to be white. This means that none of the item will be transparent. So we take clip white under the screen matte option under keylight and drag it back just a little bit, just a smidge. So it's at 94. Look at that. It's all white. No gray whatsoever. And in order to get rid of any sort of outline, we do 5 on the clip back, go back to final result, and this is what it'll look like. This is great. Now, one thing I always do, not many other people do, you see this fine edge right here? It's kind of got a dark and then white edge. I don't like that. So we do simple choker. Oh. So am I lagging? I'm getting friends telling me that I'm lagging. Am I lagging, folks? Yeah? Yeah, I'm lagging, aren't I? Well, I got a lot going on here, and this computer is like 2.5, almost 3 years old, so give me a break. Anyway, we're doing simple choker. So we've dragged simple choker onto our item here. Actually, we haven't. Take simple choker, drag it onto our item, And what this will do is this will trim any excess out. Let's just do 0.5. See what that looks like? That's not enough. Let's do 1. Much better. Do you see how the edge, the hard edge, has been choked out of there? That's exactly what we want. And also, this is another thing we want to do with our characters. One effect that I did not show you earlier is... Ooh, my poor computer is just freaking out on me. Is we want to trim... Oh. Alright, we have simple choker on our characters. Let's turn it on. There, you see that? It trims the edges a little bit, which just makes for a nicer effect. But because my computer is lagging so bad, I'm going to turn off this layer. I'm going to turn off the background. Actually, I'm going to turn off the characters too. Yeah, that's a little better. I'm having a hard time. Everything is hitching up on my end. Am I gone? There we go. Is that better? Sorry about that. Okay. Going to the beginning of this. So what we want this Python to do, right? In order to get better performance, I'm going to put this to 3rd. This basically makes the resolution really bad. I'm going to actually put it to 1/4. There. Now the resolution is horrible. That's going to give me better system performance. So we've got everything turned off. I see the shadows over here, so I know exactly where the characters are going to be. And we want this plate to start on the ground. All right, like right over here. Does that look like a good spot? How does it look in relation to those characters? Maybe over here more? Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's much better. Let's turn the characters back off, and now we need to do the whole masking thing like we did previously. So let's put that back up to full. Let's take the opacity down. Actually, let's just cover that up there. And then we'll use the mask, take off Roto Bezier. I'm saying Bezier, but I think it's Bezier. I don't know, I'm not French. Get off my case. And let's mask out these. Just so that, you know, it looks part of the world. And whoop. And there we go. That looks pretty beautiful. I'm excited. Let's turn that all the way up. Oh, I did it. Did I do it on the... Oh, man, I did it on the wrong thing. I did it on the Pi 10. We don't want that. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to go through it really quickly. Blast to tarnation and dadgummit with the happenstance. Ah. And the leet sauce. Come on. Okay. All right, ow, what do you want, Toki? I'm busy. I'm in the middle of things with the blah blah blah. There we go. Look at that. We're looking pretty good down there. Come on, kitty cat. Ah. Toki says hi. Hi. All right, go down. I'm busy. I want to refine that actually a little bit. Because we're showing a bit of earth. So if you ever want to add points to a mask that you've already done, just click the mask tool and add points. Yeah, I'm totally helping, aren't I? There. Much better. Text time, sorry, give me a moment. Real life issues. There we go. Real life taken care of. And cat wants more attention. Get down. Alrighty. Right, where was I? Oh yes, we have this tin. And with the grass there, it looks like it's firmly ensconced in our world. Control save to make it work. Wow. You guys in chat need to calm down. Biotox, you're being bad. It's the middle of the workday. Good grief. What do I need to do? All right, I need to find out exactly how long this scene works. So in order to make the processing go faster, I'm going to actually turn off the background. And there we go. If you want to ever preview your scene while you're working on it, make sure that you have your work area selected, which is this little bar right there, and then press 0. And it'll go through and it'll render the scene. And as you can see, our little cup over here is spinning. Whoops. There. Our little cup over here is spinning. And this little green bar right here where my mouse pointer is showing us which of the frames are being rendered. So now, if I were to scrub the timeline over these frames, it would be seamless and it wouldn't take up a lot of system resources. And the only reason we're doing this is I want to kind of get a feel as to the length of this scene because I'm trying to time something. I want to actually I want to motion key this particular tin, and I want to kind of do it at a certain time. So I'm just getting a feel for this timeline. It's almost done. This is exciting. Exciting broadcasting, right? There we go. Okay, so it looks like I have about everything that happens within this needs to take place in 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost 4 seconds. So the tin should 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 1. So it needs to come up on 1. 1. Okay, sounds good to me. So, whoops. Alright, I'm going to select my Pi tin. I'm going to press P to bring up position, hold Shift, press R to bring up rotation, hold Shift, press S to bring up size. I'm going to add a keyframe, and I know you can't see it because actually I'm going to show you. I'm going to take this off of 2D for a minute there. There we go. Just so I can show you this one thing. You see over here in the left-hand corner, we've got our expressions and stuff. I'm going to click the stopwatch on position, scale, and rotation in order to add a keyframe, and I'm going to move forward in time to about there, and that's where I want the move to finally take place. And I'll drag these things around a little bit to show you how it works, but I know you want to see me in the corner, so there we go. Bringing that up for you. So I'm going to turn on the background layer so I know exactly where I am in the world. And I'm going to rotate it like that. Ooh, it's really stretching. That's okay. And I'm going to move it up like that. Again, I know I've been saying this a lot, but I'm going to warn you right now, these are spoilers. This is the end sequence of my movie. I am working on the final bit of effects, so if you don't want spoilers, leave now. Control S to save. Alright, so now what this means is I have a motion effect that does this. like that. And I want it to actually have a better... if you select all of the keyframes and press F9, it gives them a nice sort of ease in and ease out, which I like a lot better. That doesn't go far enough, high enough for me. So let's select this and drag it like right about there. Does that look good? Let's turn on our characters so we know what they look like in relation. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. Control S, press 0 again to kind of see how that looks. Shadow asks, are you going to upload it tomorrow? No, there's no way I'm going to have this done in time for tomorrow. You forget, not only do I have the video to do, but I've got sound effects, and Nathan is working on the music. So there's just a lot that's going on here. All right, I like that. That looks nice. Okay, so that is saved. Let's bring up World of Warcraft model viewer. Minimize this so we have fewer graphical things. Now, let's go to Options, Load Character, and these are all of the characters that I've ever used in my movies, saved as nice little files. Let's search for Stag. Select Stag, and what have we got here? A crash! Well, that's fantastic. All right, hold on a second. Let's find... well, map and model viewers. Let's model viewer. Let's minimize that. All right, where was I doing? All right, options, load character, search for Staghorn, opening it up, and what have we got? We got that guy. Let's go to characters, sheath weapons, puts it on his back, maximize, view, grid. All right, this shows us where we are in relation. Let's bring this down a little bit, and we want to see how he'll look in the world. So let's move this. Here, I'll put this over here so you can see it better. Move this so that it mirrors the world, and we want him to be facing this way. Let's increase it a bit. That looks good. Alright, view, remove grid. Oh, actually, we don't want him to be that large because it'll cut him off, so let's bring him down a smidge. There we go. View, show grid. Now, what sort of motions do I want him to be doing for this scene? Got to think about it for a sec. So that happens, and maybe he gets Arnold stay and Epps back stay. So he could just stand. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take, I'll move the animation control over here so you can see it. Take this, put it to 1. That means it's going to cycle through one of the animations instead of going forever. We're already on stand, so let's select it, press F4 to start recording, press play, whoops, and press stop because we're on the wrong one. So let's just go to stand there, bring up Fraps folder, remove this particular file, and try again. F4 to start recording, press play to cycle through 1. Bingo. And then we want him to kind of step back. So let's look for the walk backwards animation. Now in these newer versions of WoW Model Viewer, they've kind of messed things up for me. So I don't know exactly where the emotions are in this list. So I got to kind of hunt for it. We want walk backwards. Walk backwards. And that's too fast. So let's reduce the speed by 0.5, 50%. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's get one of these. Apply. Oh. That's a good one. We had some sort of jittery ones at the beginning there, so I'm going to write myself a little note. This is the first one we did. This is stag taken stand 1. Let's rename this one. Stag taken walk backwards trim first 2. Little note to myself to know, so I know exactly what to do. All right. And then what motion should he be doing when that happens? Maybe a ready stance. So let's find ready. That's ready two-handed. Let's try ready thrown. Ready rifle. Let's try ready spell. Let's try ready joust. Definitely no. Ready one-handed. That's ready two-handed. Ready one-handed. I liked ready thrown so far. Let's try that. Oh, ready unarmed. That one's good. All right, let's bring the speed on that back up to 1, just to see what it looks like. I like it. All right, F4 to record. Pressing play. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. One more time. All right, I like the second to last one, so let's choose that. Note to myself. Normally I don't have to do this, but because I'm broadcasting at the same time, I'm getting lag. Stag, taken, ready, use, second to last. And then, so that happens, and it goes shh, and then inside, maybe thrashing of the feet. What's a good way to thrash the feet? Let's try walk. No. Let's try run. That's not bad. Let's see if we can find sprint. C kick just for, yeah. That's good. But I like. Oh, what do I cower? No, it's not a good one. Strangulate. Oh, that's a perfect one. That's exactly what I wanted. Oh, that's so great. Okay. Well, I guess let me turn this to 0 because that's... All right, F4 to record. Ugh. The lag is horrible. Hold on a second. I need to do something. Let's record this at half speed, and then we can just double it up. There we go. The reason we do this at half speed is when we have lag like this. For instance, if you're trying to do this on your machine and it's really slow, the processor is bad, you can record stuff at half speed and then double the speed of the clip as it's played, and that will drop frames out. More often than not, it'll drop out the frames that are hitching, which is why I do that. Oh, that looks great. I had forgotten about that motion. That's going to look absolutely fantastic. I'm excited if you couldn't tell, and I think that actually is probably going to be enough. So let's name this Stag Taken Thrash. All right, let's move these from that folder and place them in this folder. Let's minimize this and that and drag them into the project like so. Bam. In the words of Emerald. All right, coffee break. Am I planning on making any new music videos or albums? Yes. Oh, look, I disappeared from the screen. I'm sorry about that. There I am. Yes, I do plan on it. Okay, so let us bring these characters in and trim stuff. So this is the stand one. Double click on it and it brings it up. But I actually kind of want to... If you alt double click on it, it'll put it into the thing here, and then you can just kind of drag through it into the monitor, and you just drag through it till you find the beginning of the animation. Okay, the cat is trying to walk on my keyboard. Stop it. Kitty cat. Down. Alright. The beginning of the animation is about there. So I'm going to trim it there using that button. Now I'm going to find the end of the animation. Which is right about there. Then I do that, close it, and now this particular file is trimmed. So we're going to drag it out into our world. I like it. Now we can tell by our keyframes that the bowl ends right about there, and that's about where we want our character to start moving. So I like that. Let's look for key light, which is our keying plugin. Drag it onto Staghorn. Select blue. Computer's lagging. Turn those off for now. This will help. And let's bring this down to quarter. Okay, double click on that. Screen matte. And there's a lot of greens and yellows in his color, so we're not gonna... I actually already know what I want to put in for the values, so I'm just gonna go 595. Put this back to final result. Screen matte. Clip black 5, clip white 95. Enter and close this. Okay, that's exactly what we want. How did that get there? There we go. Okay, so he's nice and keyed in. Let's turn the background back just so we can place him. There we go. Control S to save what we have so far. Let us reduce the size of this guy just a bit. Let's turn on the background character so we can know where to place him in relation. All right, now where will he be when the tin moves up like that? Right there. Okay, that's good. So, Control S to save that. Let's press P to bring up position. Oh, we don't need to move that. All right, so I like that. And we'll put in all of the special effects for this later once we get all of the motion down. Is he a little too large? He might be a little too large. No, that's a good size. Okay, so once that goes up, he's going to walk backwards. Let's double click on, actually, let's alt click on this. Till we find the final one. Remember, this is the one we wanted to trim. Okay, we're looking for the beginning of this animation. It's right there. So we trim it there. Let's find the end of this animation. Is that the end? Yeah, that's the end of it. Okay, and then we click that, and it trims the end of that animation. Great. So let's drag this into the timeline. That's really long. Why is that so long? I'm confused. Okay, interesting. I guess I did it wrong. There we go. Let's just drag this down here a bit. Alright, so let's go to the beginning of these keyframes. Select the file we want it to be on top of. Hold Control Alt and then press V, and it puts it in there right at the right time. Which means that we've placed this in at the wrong spot. So let's save everything that we've put on it, which is key light, Control Copy, place it on that clip, Control V. Let's open up position and size. Copy them from this one, Control C, paste it onto this one, which is Control V. Let's move this one forward a smidge, or back a smidge. So now let's delete that, open it up in Project by holding Alt and double clicking, and then press, actually, what does this do? Ripple Insert Edit, Overlay Edit, Overlay Edit. Great, that's nice, but it puts it at the very, I don't understand why it puts it there. Control X to cut it. Let's drag down to where we were. Alt Control V, place it where we want it. Let's move it to the end here. Up a scoot. Let's trim the beginning. Let's copy all of the properties from this one onto that one. Position and scale, Control Copy, Control Paste. Nice. Okay, well, that was a workaround, but we did it. Now this is taking up way too much of our timeline, so let's go time stretch, and let's make it a little more than twice as fast. So let's type in 25, and that makes it pretty darn fast. So that's a fast back step is what he's doing. Let's press P to bring up the position. Let's put a keyframe at the very beginning. Go to that, and then let's bring him backwards a bit. If you want to keep the position constant. So if you want to move him back in a straight line so that you don't move him around the whole map, hold shift, select your character in the monitor, and then drag back. Actually, okay, someone's knocking on my door. Give me just a second. Hold shift and then drag back. Why is it not letting me do this? Oh, it's because I have the pie selected. Hold on, guys. I need to answer my door real quick. Be right back. The cat will entertain you. Sorry about that, folks. All right, what was I doing? Man, I'm so distracted. Oh yeah, I'm transforming this, and I need to, no, that's placing a, my computer is lagging so bad because of the broadcast, but you know what, I'm not going to complain. All right, hold shift and drag it back. That's good. Cool. I like that. Control S to save what we have so far. Now we're going to put in all of the special effects like the toner and the light sweep and the shadows and everything after we finish the animation. We'll put it all in its own pre-composition in order to do this. But first, we need to finish the animation. So we have about half of this timeline taken up, which means we need to have this thing ready. All right, so let's trim this one to the right position by holding Alt, double-clicking on it. Use second to last is what my note says. So let's find the second to last. I think that was it. Trying to find the beginning of the animation. There it is. Trim that right there. Let's find the end of the animation and then trim that. And there it is. All right, and trim that. Then let's insert it into our timeline by pressing that. And it appears right where we want it. Fantastic. Control X to remove it. And bring it down here. Let's zoom in on this a little bit. Hold that, Control Alt V. Let's scooch it up. Actually, that's where it stops. So that's exactly, nope, we want it up one more. Cool, I like it. And then let's copy all of the attributes from the previous one and paste it onto that. P and S to bring up position and scale. But we don't want this to actually animate because he's standing in place resisting something, and I'll show you in a moment what exactly he's resisting. So you press U to bring up all of the key points. Let's just remove this one so that he's at one spot, and then just click the stopwatch to turn all others off. And this is taking up too much time, and there was also a bit of a lag. So let's do time stretch, a factor of 75, and that should take out a few of the dropped frames from the animation. Actually, maybe I should... Yeah, you know, I like that. Control S. You guys in chat are funny. What can I say? Okay. Now here's the tricky bit. And for this, we are going to turn off the other characters, turn off the background, so that all we're dealing with is this character and this tin. And then we're going to find something called Mesh Warp. Oh, come on. Mesh Warp. Place that over this character. And I don't know if you can still see me. Yeah, you can. Okay, that's good. So, now we've got this sort of mesh going on this character, and that's fine. That's exactly what we want. I'm thinking. I'm trying to decide exactly how I want this to play out. When is the movie done? Well, as soon as I finish this movie. That's the timeline I'm giving you. Okay, so the reason we're doing this mesh warp is because we want this character to get sucked into the pie tin. We want him to go... But what we want to happen first is we want him to be kind of stretched and morphed and sort of just pulled apart. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the animation by... Actually, what do we want in terms of columns and rows? So do we want 7? Let's try 5. What does that look like? Whoops, that brought us all the way to the top of the page. Mesh warp. Okay, is that enough? Yeah, I think that's plenty. All right, so we only wanted 5 columns, which is going to reduce the amount of mesh that we want. So let's click the stopwatch on Distortion Mesh. Okay? And then let's go to the very big... let's press U on this layer. Just so that we can see the keyframes. Let's go to the very beginning of this animation, or the very end of this animation. And so this is where he'll be as he's about to get sucked in. So let's distort it so that it looks like he's being sucked towards the pie tin. So let's start with these over here. We drag this out. Let's choose this one and do the same thing. Kind of drag it out. Actually, that's too much. Let's move this one. Here, I'm going to put this on better quality so you can see what's going on. Unless it messes up my machine. Alright, there we go. Let's take this one. Move it forward. And this one. And move it forward. Not quite so much. And let's also do these top ones because it's making it stretch. Okay, now for some fine tuning. Let's make this hand. So let's take this little squibbly-doo. Actually, I'm going to put this on quarter just so that I can work. Let's take this squibbly-doo and stretch it out. There we go. Now it makes it look as if the hand is really going towards it, right? I like that. Let's do the same with this squibbly do on the head. Oh, that's not really doing much, is it? Let's take this squibbly do and kind of stretch it forward. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I like that a lot. Whoops. There, I like that. Let's actually move this forward a bit. Oh, come on, don't be a jerk. There, that's nice. Maybe if we bring it down. If we do that, let's bring this down. There's no real guide. I'm not kind of following a guideline. I'm just kind of feeling it out and making it up as I go along, which I think is pretty much the key. And this isn't working. Let's... Oh, what is that? Why isn't it? Okay, that's cool. All right, so what do we got here? It's a pretty good stretch. So it goes from that to that, but we also want a blur sort of thing to go on. So let's look for what would be a good blur. Directional blur. Let's see if that produces an effect that we want. All right, let's do a blur length of 50. Whoa. Let's change the direction to about 40. Maybe 60. Come on. Come on, computer. There we go. I like that. That looks good. Let's maybe make the blur length a little longer. How about... Well, let's try 100, see what happens. That is nice. Okay, now we're not going to have it do for the. We're not going to do this for the entire creature because I want the feet to look as if they're less affected by this. And I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. But for now, is there anything else? No, that's too much. A blur length of 50 is good. So it's being stretched, it's being blurred. Is there anything else I want to do? Do I want to wave warp, maybe? No, I don't think I want to wave warp. Okay, so I like that. Let's duplicate this layer. On the bottom layer, let's turn off the directional blur, just because we don't want that to happen for everything. And let's do a mask around this. Roto Bezier. Bezier. Or whatever, and masking around it. Let's put this on quarter just so that we have less to render. There we go. And why is it only doing... Let's move these vertices out a bit. There we go. That opens up the rest of the character. Okay, and then let's put a feather on this mask so that there isn't a hard line between them. And let's make the feather 20. See if that helps. No, let's make it 40. Okay, that looks good. Let's remove that so we see what we got. Okay, coolness. So it's being sucked in towards there. And let's do a preview to see what we got so far. Hopefully it won't... So if you want to set your work area... Oh, we forgot to do the blur keyframe. So let's place the keyframe there and make it 0. Good. All right. Control S. And let's, if you want to change where your work bar begins and starts, you go to the beginning of where you want it to start, and you press B. Then you go to the end of where you want it to start, and you press N. And that gives you your work area. So let's press 0 to preview this, just to see what kind of animation we're going to get. Oh, whoops. That's what we forgot to do. Okay. Let's press 0, see what we got. So, you can see it processing slowly over time. This is what we're going to get. Slowly being sucked towards the pie. Oh, I like it. It's looking good. Oh, I'm pleased. All right. So that's what... Wow, the guy outside is just annoyingly loud. I'm going to close the window. There we go. All right, how's that look? You like that? Now, of course, there are going to be special effects coming out of the pie, which I'm going to do. But right now, we just want to get this thing going. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm just pleased with my own work, I'll say. All right, so now that we have that, we want the final bit where he's like right in there. So let's grab that strangulate graphic that we did just a bit earlier, all right? Control S to save. All right, hold on a second, guys. All right. Cool. Let's drag this into our timeline there. Right-click, time stretch. Let's do it by a factor of 50, just so that we can reduce some of the drop frames. Alt close bracket to trim it to that point in time. Let's copy the size and position by pressing P, holding Shift, pressing S to bring up size and position for a previous clip. Control copy, select the one we want, Control V. Let's close that because we don't need it. Let's find key light. Let's copy the key light and press it there. Okay, so let's see exactly how much time we have. Let's go to the beginning of this animation. Press N. Whoops, we don't want that. Go to the beginning of it. Press B. And just to see how much time we have. Okay, so I'm going to do about 5 frames. It's going to go from where he's at to there in only 5 frames. Press R to bring up rotation. Let's drag the rotation to where we want. Let's drag our guy. Place him there, because that's where we want him. Shift P to bring up position and rotation. And then let's go here. And change the rotation a smidge. And let's find a mesh warp. Let's place it on here. And let's reduce this to maybe 4. And we don't want to really do much, because all we're doing is a brief, I mean, it's only 5 frames, so we won't have to do much. Let's do this to 1. Stretch him there. So it looks like he's kind of being... That's good. Let's go forward in time 1 frame. I said forward in time 1 frame. Oh, there we go. Forward in time 1 frame. Okay, computer, you're really starting to grind my gears. And let's move these keyframes up 1 frame. There we go. So we're going to go from this to that. Actually, we should probably have these back 1 frame. And let's bring up the mesh warp, distortion mesh, and then go forward, press U, reset. Oh man, that resets. Oh, that's okay. I can do this over again. 1. By 1. That's one thing I forgot to do. Let's place a keyframe here for the distortion mesh. Let's go all the way back here. Let's drag this out just so we can see it. Let's select the mesh warp again. And let's stretch this out to where we want it, which is... Okay, let's put 2 rows in there. Okay, and then let's stretch this out to where we want it, which is why are you doing that? Oh, I'm not doing the. No wonder. My bad. Sorry, folks. I'm not selecting the appropriate one. There we go. I was actually changing the shape of the file and not the shape of the mesh. But how do I select the mesh if it's being... Alright. We're going to bring this back up to 2. Actually, we don't need that being 2. Bring it back to 1 and bring that to 4. There. Kind of. Let's try 2 again. Yeah, that's what we wanted. Okay, so now that we finally got that taken care of, let's go forward in time. Let's trim that. And then let's put motion blur on this particular file. So then it goes forward in time like that. Okay. So we've got him stuck there. Let's reduce the opacity slightly so that we can see what's behind. And we want all of him to be contained within that. So we've got this motion, we've got this mesh warp already. So let's just bring him in a bit. And then we'll put the opacity back to 100. And then we'll have a mask. So let's do a Bezier warp, or a Bezier mask. Find out exactly where we are. Here we go. Zoom out. There we are. Let's set the mask shape to the operation to subtract. Okay. And do some fine tuning here. One moment, folks. His cape is getting in the way. That's the problem. His cape and his sword are both getting in the way. But you know what? We can solve this by simply moving the character down. And pushing him in just a little bit. Okay. Let's move this mask point over here. Cool. So we've got him stuck in there, and let's put a motion on the mask shape, so that when he's in the midair, it's not. And we're gonna have to do it frame by frame, because. It's only 5 frames, though. One, 2, 3. Yeah, I know, this is the tedious part of the job. What can I say? This is how one edits video. Move forward 1 frame. Let's change this. Move forward 1 frame. Change this. Move forward 1 frame. And the mask is gone. So let's move it off. Perfect. So we've done that. Control S to save. But one thing we need to do is we need to mask out the tin, actually. So let's duplicate the tin. Trim the beginning here. Bring it above everything else in the timeline. Maybe down 1 more. There. So now we have this tin on top, but we want it to look like he's going inside of it, which is going to be tricky because the tin isn't perfectly round, so there are going to be some hard edges that are going to mess up. But we're going to do this anyway, so let's just try a simple Bezier. Is it Bezier or Bezier? I don't even know. Mask. Brilliant. Look at that. See? Now it looks like he's going inside of it. See how we did that? Tricks of the trade, I'm telling you. Okay, let's get a bit of a preview of what we've got so far. So you want to see what we've done so far? Let's go to the very beginning of where he gets sucked in to where he is. So Control S to save what we've got so far, which is important. Constantly save your project. And then we're pressing 0 to get a look of what's going to happen. Oh, isn't that a thing of beauty, my friends? Isn't that a thing of beauty? Oh, I'm happy. I'm a happy guy. That looks so smooth. Check it out. I need some praise here. Somebody tell me how awesome that is. I'm waiting. I mean, you guys are in the chat. What do we got going on here, huh? Pretty awesome? Yeah? Ah, cool. Thank you. Well, you know, I hate to be arrogant about it, but I'm pretty excited, at least. This is a scene I have been thinking about for months, and I'm glad it's actually working just the way I thought it would. Which means that next we have special effects. Okay. Sweet. So that's everything for Stag for this particular bit. So let's put all of that in a pre-composition so that we know exactly where we're at. Do I want that in the no, I don't want that in the pre-composition as well. Layer, pre-compose, calling that number 36 since I have 35 other pre-compositions. Press enter. Wait for the computer to catch up. Alt, square bracket, to trim the end and move it down beneath the tin that's rotating. Go to the very beginning. Alt, other square bracket, just to keep it where it is. Control S to save. So let's turn everything else on that we have so far so that we can blend these things together to make them work in the scene. Oh, actually, this is number 35. Let's rename that. Okay, so we want the toner to be the same, so let's copy here, and I'm going to put this on full just so we can get a good look at what's going on. Let's copy everything, the toner through the light sweep and the simple choker. Copy, and let's paste it here. Why is it black? Somebody tell me why it's black. Oh, it's loading everything. Okay. So that's looking good. I hope you aren't trying to use this as an actual reference by which you machinimate, because I'm not really helping out. Let's change the direction of the CC light sweep to 0 so that it's coming from directly above, because as you can see, the sun is directly above him. Let's also increase the edge thickness a bit because he's closer to the camera and he's also a larger character. Nice. That looks good. And do I want any grass to be above him? You can't see my hat? What are you talking about? I'm wearing it. Oh, sorry about that, folks. There we go. Do I want any grass to appear over his hooves or not? Zooming in. You know, normally it doesn't take this long to do all this video editing, but because I'm broadcasting, my computer's just lagging a bit, so yeah, he's gonna walk in the path of this grass stalk here, so I should really do something about that. That's okay. Alright, let's duplicate the background one more time. Let's bring it above Staghorn. And let's mask out these little bit of grass stalks. And it's gonna really, oops, my bad. We had Roto Bezier on. It's going to really add to the illusion so that when he backs up, the grass covers his steps. Great, that looks good. And then we need to put in a shadow, which is a new layer, new solid. I like it. Control X, bring it down here. Control V. T to bring up opacity. Let's drag that down a bit just so that we can see what we're working on. Let's go to the forefront here. Let's get a circle mask tool, and we're going to make one just the size of his feet. I like it. Press M twice to bring up the mask properties. Let's put a feather of 7 on it. Let's take off the line so that we can see what we've got here. Let's make the mask feather 10. Now normally I'd be able to parent this shadow to the layer that's got motion on it, and it'll naturally follow it, but because we have it in a pre-composition, it's not going to work. Unless we take it out and put it in the pre-comp, which we can totally do. Let's do that actually. So I just cut it. I'm selecting 37, which brings up that one. Control paste. Then we can parent it to the one where he steps back, because that's what all we really need. So it's in the right spot. Let's parent it to that, and it should move, right? Yeah, it moves with him, see? But I won't move with him when he goes over here, so we just need to reduce the opacity of it. Press T to bring up the opacity. Let's put a keyframe there, and then let's move forward in time to about there. Actually, one more frame forward. Let's also bring up the properties so it can move with him. So it starts here, it'll end about there. Let's move it forward to where his feet are. Then reduce the opacity to, actually, yeah, to 0. So it goes like this. Bam. All right, I like it. Okay. So that looks like it's working. Let's, well, should I end the broadcast here and just continue editing on my own, or should I? Why is there 2? Why do we have 2? Why are there 2 staghorns in that particular shot? Oh, it's not. It's his, it's his cape. Okay, cool. Oh, you don't want me to stop? Alright, well I gotta find some, the next step is to put some spell effects so that it looks like there's something really amazing happening with this pie tin. But I don't exactly know what to do. You know what? I think I'll keep it. I think I'll keep the spell effects a secret so that you guys don't know what to expect. But if you want a finale, let's render out this entire scene just to see what it looks like so far, okay? Let's have it fit. It's going to take a long time to render, but there we go. Pressing 0, and it's going to render frame by bleeding frame. Wow, 1 frame. All of that time for 1 frame. Oh, well, what can I do in the meantime while we're waiting for this to render? Been working on that one for a while. It's a hard one. It'll take me a long time to master it. Let me try another one. And that's as far as I've gotten on that one. Wow, this is taking a very long time to render. A very long time to render. Good gracious. And you guys are only getting like 17 to 16 frames per second. Probably because my computer is working overtime just to knock this thing out. Can you do a quick wave for us? Okay. Hi, I'm waving. That was exciting. I'm glad you asked me to do that. Alright, what's next on the agenda? What else can we play? What else can I play? As long as the sound is not freaking out. As long as the sound, you can still hear me and hear my penny whistle, then we're good. My computer is probably lagging to high heaven and back because I'm rendering this sequence and broadcasting live over the internet. So, oh well, we're just going to have to live with it. It looks like it has rendered about half of it, and it's quite possible that there's so much going on in this scene that it will stop at about 3/4 of the way, and I'll only be able to show you about 3/4 of it before we get to the final bit. But the scene is only like 6 seconds long anyway. I don't know, we'll see. I could go through my entire repertoire while we wait. Let's change penny whistles. What haven't I played yet? Oh, it finished. Yeah, it's stuck here. So this is what we've done so far. Come on, computer. Oh no! Don't crash on me. Please don't crash. Come on. Stop it. Alright, so that's the first half. It flies up, he steps back, it flies up, he steps back, and then he gets in his ready position. And then the rest of it, let me show you. Let's try again. Alright, now it gets to render the rest of it. Isn't that fantastic? Alright, what haven't I played yet? Alright, folks. This render is going too slow, so I'm going to stop it. You guys pretty much have an idea of what this thing will look like. I think you'll just have to wait until I release it to see the full and final version. Anyway, thank you for coming to this behind-the-scenes sort of thing. I hope you got a little sort of insight into how I work on my videos. You saw a whole bunch. You didn't get to see everything, but you sure saw a whole bunch in terms of making this scene. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope none of you got any spoilers. And I'll see you guys for Scotch and Smoke Rings on Thursday. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and stay classy, of course.